Only here at Beyond Musical Sounds that you can meet such amazing music. We want to welcome you once again for this exciting show on Beyond Musical Sounds. And with me in studio is my friend, my partner, my husband, the handsome man, Andrew Owino. Please say hi to the audience.
Well, welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, for Beyond Musical Sounds. Today, I have experts, so you need to sit well. You heard the sound. Was it expert?
Excellent.
Excellent sound. Today we are being joined by two very fine gentlemen in the area of music, and we are going to talk about something. You'll tell us what we'll talk about, but let me introduce them. Right from the saxophone. I used to think the saxophone is a folded trumpet. Mr. Mapenzi, would you give yourself a good introduction this day?
Yeah, that's how you call me. I call myself Francis Akilimali.
Oh.
But also that's my name also.
Akilimali.
Yes, Akili ni Mali.
Okay, that's a good name for
Akili ni pesa.
Okay. Where did you get the name Mapenzi?
It's my middle name.
That's why we chose you for this show. This show is about music and love. We have a friend. He came with a good friend. I like somebody whose hands are organized on the piano. I like if your hands are organized on the piano, you're my good friend. Together with Francis, what's your name? Just introduce yourself today.
My name is Daniel Njue, and I play the piano. I also play the guitar and the bass. Yeah.
Wow.
Bass guitar?
And the acoustic.
Acoustic guitar. And you told me earlier you are a music educator.
Yes, yes.
So you train music.
Yes.
Do you also sing?
Singing.
Aliaja.
We will come to why you left singing. So you used to sing.
Friends, today in studio we have good professionals. In fact, Mr. Mapenzi is a software engineer and plays a variety of instruments. Among them is a saxophone. I met him playing the bass guitar very professionally. You know, if he plays the keyboard as well, amongst other things, and does music professionally. But today we want to speak about a matter that affects
everybody.
And this subject is music and morality.
What's that? Kwa Kiswahili, muziki na mapenzi.
Is it? Morality can't be mapenzi, is it?
Si mapenzi ni inafanyaga. Eh?
Morality.
Morality is what is right.
Nimeharibu.
Kiswahili.
Okay, what is morality? Let's start from there. Mapenzi. What is morality?
Ay, si tabia.
If you say this guy is moral, what do you mean?
Akona tabia nzuri.
Tabia nzuri. Especially anakula kidogo. It's about how you deal with love. In fact, that is going to be our segment today, how you deal with relationships.
Well, morality may cut across many issues.
Definitely.
It can cut across your
Corruption.
relationships, corruption, how you deal with money. But I know this show will allow us to deal with matters, corruption and nationalism. Today we want to look at relationships, especially relationships among choir members. You know, it's among choir members that sometimes you hear, so and so alitoroka na bibia nani. Quiet. Have you heard stories of that nature?
That hizo ndo stories ziko kwa kwani stories zingine ziko huko.
Si ndio? Ama
It happens.
Ama nani alikatia nani and then the choir broke down. Yeah.
Kasambaratika.
Yeah. So what is it about music that makes, you know, issues around relationships pertinent? How come it only, or mostly of the time,
around musicians?
It happens around musicians. What is it about musicians?
The structure of music is such that it has its entry to the brain through the emotional centers, which is the limbic system. Now, incidentally, the limbic system is where the instruments of love and lust, the opposite of love, which is sensuality and lust, sits in, or the feeling part of love. Majorly, the control part of love sits in the frontal lobe, but the feeling part of love, that feeling you feel when you're feeling, you're going to feel a feeling you've never felt before.
Hiyo ni feeling gani yo mapenzi?
when somebody jazzes you or somebody saxophones you, something like that. Yeah, you start liking the other person. There is a hormone that is deposited in you where you don't even think the person goes to the toilet. You think they are very, perfect, and you start getting drawn to them. Now, from the ladies' side, I'll throw this back to you, and you will clarify. From the ladies' side, ladies are attracted to men because of two things. One is influence, and the other one I've forgotten. Power.
No, why do you think ladies like you before I tell you what we like?
Ladies like who? Me?
Musicians.
Musicians. Where?
I don't think they...
Oh, you don't know?
I don't think they... Liking musicians, maybe what you do.
Yeah,
Maybe
I like
what
that.
you do.
So it's not you they like, they are confusing you with the thing you are doing.
Ukitoa hii na mimi separately,
Kuisha.
then maybe that hiyo union ndo walikuwa wanapenda, but it's not ladies pekee. Hata mimi nikiona there is a lady playing an instrument well,
you'll be like, hey, huyo msee.
Like,
yeah,
it's not the person, it's what they are doing.
Okay.
So ukiwa separate hivi utaona boy hata alikuwa amevaa shati si
color clash.
Yes,
okay.
But when you're doing that thing,
that's an important point, right?
All right, and I think we discussed this widely when we spoke about influence in an earlier show, that music has a lot of influence, and the tools of influence, sometimes it's what you do, it's how you play the saxophone, it's the voice, you know, it's...
So it draws people to you?
Exactly.
Both wrong people and the right people.
Yeah.
Dan, what's your experience? Do you think people get attracted to you because of your talent?
I think it's somehow true, because of course they're different pianists per se, they're different musicians, but there is a way you bring out this music that will attract someone.
Yes.
So it's more of how you produce it. Yes.
Have you gotten into trouble because of that? Maybe you told me you have played this for a long time, since high school. So all your life, have you gotten into trouble, where trouble here means and you get undue attention from the opposite sex because of the instrument?
Yeah, it happens. It happens more so when, as I said, the way you produce it, the way you produce the music.
How do you deal with that?
your touch.
Yes, your touch.
When you are a beginner at these things,
yes,
you'll be excited.
Yeah,
so
attention
much.
But gain experience, you will be able to know kwa hapa kozi ya hivi, and utamaliza tu that show or anything na ufuate njia zako, because you already know what they want, why they are there, na ukiwapatia attention what they will do.
Yeah, so
that's it. So you already know.
You know how
but
to
if
walk
you are
away.
fresh into this music and everything, you will enjoy the attention, which is
risky.
It's a good feeling.
Has it?
Lakini si poa.
What are the pitfalls? What finally happens? Are you likely to run away with somebody's wife?
I'll maybe...
Yes, then.
Okay, in my experience, because it's a matter of, at times when you play music, there are guys you touch really, but then it reaches a point where, let's say, everyone, okay, at some level you reach your climax of probably performance, and then there are moments when there will be another musician who will probably be, let's say, better
than you.
So the attention will shift
to that.
And now when you find that, probably to you, if you focus more on the attention, you start now to drain you. Now probably you'll get into depression.
Allow me to ask Andrew, what aspects of music, since you've also been in music for a long time, what aspect of music would you say promote or degrade morality? What is it about music that just makes moral issues hang around it? Yeah.
Okay, I have two levels. First is the level of the output of music as an influence. We've spoken about this. And whenever you have influence attached to you, whenever you have power attached to you, people will come to you for whatever reasons, like they have said.
Okay.
So even pastors need to know, politicians need to know, whenever you are in the limelight, you are being investigated more and people want to associate more with you. So you have more, that is one of its aspects. It's not necessarily a quality characteristic, a technical characteristic of music, but just because it shapes the society, people follow it and all that, you are likely to be in that space. That's why there's a lot of scandals of leadership and all this. Now the second category is technical. That was more a social application. The technical aspect goes into music was meant for the brain, and the brain is the largest organ for connection, sexual connections, communication, and all the things. So depending on how the music is constructed, there is a music that speaks to the brain and speaks to morality. It builds up, it strengthens the frontal lobe. So music, yes, there are musicians who have played good music and their life is straight, and they have listened to good music and their life is straight. There is music just by itself, before we add any other factors. By just listening to music that is sensual, music that is organized to target the limbic system of lust, and it builds up that part. These people will naturally be even promiscuous, they lose their control. So the aspects, how you combine your chords, the chords that leave you excited all through. That's why jazz is played mostly in disco. The intention of that music is to create 1, sexual excitement, 2, lose control, 3, do whatever you like. That's the intention. That's why those chords are never supposed to be resolved. No wonder we have a guidance. The Adventist philosophy of music says we must avoid the use of a lot of it in our songs. The song book we use has mostly many of, if it's a bit of minor chord, I don't want to bring the musical terms, they are put in as salt to create interest. And then there is the rhythmic aspect of it. One, if it's too loud, it will definitely speak to the flesh. If it's also discordant in its nature, it will speak to the flesh.
Now, sometimes you're just singing good music,
Right.
yeah? You have not sung all of those things you've described, you're not singing any jazz, but could it be the environment in which music is conducted? You teach music sometimes. He's a very good music teacher. If a lady invited you and said, hey, I'm home alone, come this evening, I want you to come and teach me some music, would you go? Or are there some snares in how music is conducted, or could it be sometimes that it is used as an excuse to cover up for certain things?
Me personally, pali nimefika, as long as alipe, I'll go teach you, pay me, I go. So kama kuna stories zingine hizo ni zako. For me, right now, sometimes I depend on this to pay my bills. So ukiniambia come teach me, I will come. As long as ndafanya calculations zako, but this is the match, the bill.
Utabeba koti extra.
I won't even care where you tell me to come and teach you. Whether niko ofisi, whether ni wapi, I just want my money and I go. But
because for you, music is a career and you carry it out professionally.
Yes. If
so how do you, just a moment. I have now invited you to my home. I am a lady, and you have come, and for you it's a professional engagement. So what structures do you put to make it professional?
In your interaction.
If she starts funny things, what do you do?
Like
how
Mrs. Potiphar.
Yes.
If you start funny things now, that is not music.
You terminate?
That is not music.
Yes.
Now hiyo imetoka kwa music, imeingia kwa your morals, na pale umedraw your lines. So that can't be music. So hiyo ni wewe personally. Yeah, where do you draw your lines?
Good question. And there are certain compromising situations that could be there in choirs. Can you think about any compromising situations that would cause people to lose those lines?
Tuanze hapa kwa piano, sisi na Dana hapa. If I'm a lady and then I come asking you to teach me, there's a way I can move too close until it's not piano.
So there is no personal space.
Personal space, distance. There is even a lady who, after watu wameshaenda, yeye anakukonsult, So
personal consultation.
Time also, the time in which it is done. The appearance, there is the concept of appearance of evil as you drag along, and this person always just want to attach themselves to you. Maybe hata wewe ujui, anataka tu uonekane na yeye ajue huyu jamaa kwa box yangu. So when people break down all those things, you'll find it compromises you. Sometimes nothing can happen or may even happen, but they say if the coal does not burn you, don't still bring it close to you, itakuchafua. Saa zingine haiwezi kukuchoma in itself, but if it cools down itaweza kuchafua.
Okay, so what environments should, you know, choir practice happen? Because sometimes you find... No, you can do it. I can actually just walk out here and practice.
Dan, what do you think? What's the best environment for practice?
Okay, for choir practices, I'll suggest an open area.
Open areas, right.
Where you can put up your minds into the practice itself. A place where you can focus on the objective, the songs. And because if you practice in a place where there are many distractions, you will not achieve what you're supposed to achieve.
And Mapenzi was bringing something on the issue of emotion starting to develop. We have many groups today, and you can't restrict a group. If you want good quality balance, sometimes if you're not focused on men, your choir can have ladies and gentlemen. And then you said most choirs break down when. I don't want to say what you say.
One, there is no problem having a mixed group.
And they are more powerful actually.
Yes.
Very.
There is no problem going to teach at a private place. Like most instruments, for you to teach well is one.
Maybe at home, somebody's house. Yes.
So that's why I'm saying it depends on you. There is no problem. Like let me just take you nyuma kidogo. The jazz chords, the beats, the rhythm. There is no problem with jazz chords or beats or rhythm. Just like there is no problem with a gun. A gun has no problem. Money has no problem. Now it is you how you're going to use it and your intentions. If my intentions to use a gun is to destroy, then I'll destroy. To use money for kwenda usherati. If my intention to use those chords, not for worship, but
so just a moment, now that you took us back to that, I think it needs to come out clearly. So there is what we discussed in another session, that abuse does not negate good use of something. So there's the use of something appropriately. But I also think as a team, we must draw the line of what generally would put you to temptation, what generally has an evil connotation or a secular connotation, a sensual connotation in its origin, in its everyday use, even if in your expertise you can use it well. If I designed the miniskirt, Amy Quaint says, if you ask her, why did you design the miniskirt? She says, I designed the miniskirt to make sex available in the office in the afternoon. Now, there is no better way to use the miniskirt. If that was the original intent. So we need to learn from first principles. Why is reserve important? God put reserve to keep us in boundaries. Now, but I like the point you've said. In the use of of whatever you've been given, you can still produce a good intention and a bad intention.
Yes, like now the keyboard. You can just accompany vizuri tu
kabisa.
You can unaweza ingiza hata hizo vile ulikuwa unasema the jazz chord moja.
Then they help you to create interest.
They help you to bring that environment ya hiyo song. Yani you communicate through the song. But if your intention is ni wewe uonekane na ushine, then
it will lead you
just chord after just chord after. Ai, huyo mtu ni mnoma. No, that is not worship.
Very well.
And right before we get back at whatever you guys are discussing on the distractions and the chords and the things that cause people to get into moral faults in choir, I want this to present one item, and we will take a break so that we continue with this conversation.
They finished the whole song?
Yeah.
I also like the song. Bwana ni
mchungaji wangu.
Yeah. I like that.
Wonderful music right there. And this you will only find at Beyond Musical Sounds. And this is why I want you to stay tuned as we take a short break. Welcome back to Beyond Musical Sounds, and just before the break we were discussing music and morality. And let me begin this second part by asking, could there be some distractions in choir? Like you came honestly wanting to praise God, and then something just takes your mind to other things. What distractions have you met in choir that promote immorality?
Distractions, one, reside inside the person. They are only appealed to by the outside environment.
That's deep.
So when, evils within are awoken by evils without. So you can't be so holy inside and then somebody's doing an unholy thing and you have caught up. There, of course, are such a few exceptions of people who deliberately dress to kill, deliberately speak to seduce, deliberately create an environment to woo you over. The Potiphar's wives, they are there. Even
but is it just wives?
Okay, Potiphar is the example here. So if there is an example of a man, you can also give it.
What was David doing walking around his
What
balcony?
Was Bathsheba doing showering around people's environment?
Anyway, was she doing shower?
That is now theology. But it's true, it can be both sides. You agree?
True.
Yeah, it can be both sides. There are men who will just do something to kuingiza box, isn't it? With their talent and with their everything. So those are the forms of distraction outside as they exist. They could be many of them. Some of them is just someone picking this great position or this big power. The way his music career has been, he wields a lot of power and he can get away with anything. Yeah, some of the power is not just money. Some of the power could be influence, a following. He stands up and
the whole church believes him.
Yeah, everyone follows him. So if this person gives his advances, you can't refuse. That's a distraction in itself. But internally, I would also think there is a locus that would prevent you or that could keep you from any thing that comes from outside, however strong it is.
Well, I have seen certain choirs legislating how people should dress while coming for choir practice in a view to control or, reduce
some of these things.
Some
they
of
legislate
the
how meetings are held. When you finish, everybody goes home, or times of practice. They legislate a lot of things.
But I don't think you can control that.
Yes.
You can control that within the choir. But hapa, you have, tumetuambia you come dress like this. And after here, everyone enda hivi. But utasema enda hivi, then you just go meet in town.
So even those legislations don't work.
It's personal. It is you. Don't hata tusisingizie choir. It can be any other place.
Deaconesses
it can be a deacon and deaconess meeting.
Holy communion.
Yeah. Yes, it can be anything. It's not. But since we're in music, yes, choirs, things happen. Kwanza choirs where we have young men, young ladies. These are youths. Now wako energetic. Watachezeana. So you see.
Is there a way to prevent that kuchezeana? Is there a way we can redirect that energy to other things?
Just like a parent will atambia mtoto wake. Unajua hutawafuata kila mahali. You will not follow them anywhere. Every place, knowing what they do. So yes, kuna hizo guidelines within the choir, but just also talk to them. Because whatever they want to do, they won't do it there.
So talking would help.
What
else do you think we can do to just, redirect the energies of young people in choir?
I think for me personally, I would say in matters of studying the word, the word gives us principles. So once we have the principles, when I know I'm going for choir practice, this is how I conduct myself. Okay. Yeah.
Let them know why they're there. Let them know the purpose. Why are we here? Why are we in this choir? Tunafanya Mungu kazi. And if we do these things that are not godly, then it is us to be punished. Afadhali tuache. But those guidelines you are saying, those are just letters kwa papers. If you don't talk to them.
I agree with you that sometimes the rules that we have put in our choirs serve to create more hypocrites than good, because they know how to comply. They won't wear those skirts that are pressing on the upward way, new heights they are gaining every day. Those skirts will be removed and erased. But it doesn't make sense for somebody to still be wearing it in their heart.
Not even in their heart. They will stop wearing it, wearing them there. just there when I'm with you in hapo kwa choir. I know of people watakuja choir, they will dress, they will go to the restroom, dress what you want, and then time ya kwenda they go back and dress what they want and go.
But I think that raises a deeper question. I don't think we want to leave it as if we are helpless, that somebody does what they want, when they want, and then the other side they do the other thing. I grew up in an environment where they insisted, if you want to get destroyed, come and get destroyed in church. So they believe that the church over time has a molding influence, whether through rules. The Bible says that you, or in the beginning, the laws become a taskmaster, a headmaster for you, guardrails for you. You hate it, you skip. After that, you run away. You always want to get back. So we also want to profile people in their stage of Christian growth. There are people who need the rules. So we must not let the rules go because of somebody who will not comply all the time, everywhere. The rules will help someone. Or somebody will, and by the way, you never break any rule. You break yourself against the rule. Or somebody will hit the rock and realize that thing was meant to help me. So by all means, let there be guidelines that can restrain. Let there be guidelines that can help people know reserve. If I am driving to Mombasa, for example, and my wife is not in the choir, and there are men in the choir, why shouldn't I drive with men even if I want to carry another woman in my car? I think there's just a way it dissolves. So I told you, you may not do anything wrong, but the charcoal will dirty you. So those guidelines will just help reduce incidences. But when it comes to the personal space, somebody will still have to attract themselves to the higher principle where I will do right whether the lights are off.
Now, how about the timing of choir practice? Do you think this has a role to play in promoting morality or reducing morality? You know, there are times you're called for choir practice at night.
At night. I remember we would be woken up when there was something serious, like a festival, and those are the things that would cause very early morning trainings. There might be, but they are more event-based as such. They are not the lifestyle of a choir. The lifestyle of a choir should be patterned after the lifestyle of the angels who love the law of God, who love to do the will of God. The will of God is that day will be a time for working, and night will be a time for sleeping. So need I to say more? Go sleep at night.
So no night outs.
I don't know.
No sleepovers.
But then hata the Bible pia inatuambia tukeshe tukiomba. So you can't kesha ukiomba when you're asleep. It doesn't have to happen at night. Though,
but does it tell us to kesha ukiomba with the others?
No.
Or okay, let's flying to closet prayer.
This is not.
Let's clarify that.
A spiritual.
Just hold on.
It's not a spiritual
connotation.
Let
me clarify that matter. Let me clarify that matter. There is a new trend, and sometimes we need to put as the standard of living God's intent. There is a case where Jesus prayed in Gethsemane, and many other occasions where he would spend longer nights in prayer. When people had gone, he was alone.
And even in Gethsemane, he was alone.
Now you have thought it. Hold on.
He was with others, but he went a little far ahead.
When it is personal prayer, you can pray all day long, all week long, everything long. There is a counsel in spirit of prophecy that this night vigils, whatever we got them from, it is anti-biblical. And whenever people come together to pray, first of all, those prayers must be short. We spoke about that in another show. Yeah.
Music and meditation.
Music and meditation. I think it's in future. Whenever people come for public prayers, it must be short. People who want to compensate for their lack of everyday spiritual life, and these things have been borrowed. Sometimes before you engage in something like kukesha, I see it in many churches, it's good to ask the origin. What's the intent? And then ask in the morning, how much did people get? Prayer is a spiritual and mental exercise. When your mental powers degrade over time and your brain deserves to sleep, you can't talk to me when you're sleepy. Prayer is talking to God. There is a need to also train your mind to withdraw yourself from the pleasures of this earth. It can be fasting, it can be from sleep, but let those be done in the confines of personal, prayer and things like that. But I also think I want to agree with him on this point. We cannot legislate when choir will sing. Just like we said in the previous point. Let choir sing whenever they find it's best for them, but there are things that will compromise family. If you are with somebody's mother at night, you know.
And the husband is not there.
And yeah, and things like that. They are just things that you now use logic, like you were saying, use reason. If we have met to pray, then let's by all means do what? Pray for the extent of time. But that generates a lot of conversion.
I would also like to mention there are things that happen at night. We were given and Jesus said there were 10 foolish and 10 wise.
Five
Was
foolish.
it 10 or 5?
There were 10 in total.
There were 10 in total.
Yeah.
Umeongeza tano tena.
There were 10 or 10. Those
Yeah,
guys,
those ones were at night.
those people were that was a wedding. That was a wedding. So things happen at night. Even the guy who wrestled with Jesus didn't wrestle when the sun was there. Ilikuwa usiku.
That's right.
So it's things happen at night. Not bad. But mi nasema it is logical. Science, it's about logic. Like vile tu nasema tuko hapa kila mtu ameshinda, then wewe unafaa kutrain sopranos usiku, the husband is not, you are there, you know, such things.
Italeta
maneno. Personally, how
so
I handle
maybe
this.
in fact that's why we are coming to Mapenzi. If we could now tweak the discussion to what shall we do, because we can't avoid certain circumstance if these things befall us. Like we started with an instrumentalist, you are doing your thing rightly, but there is a loophole for a fall. Maybe we can start with Dan. What do you do? I would like to know your experience. What do you do? How do we mitigate? Just a personal experience if you have, but what do you suggest would be a way of handling this?
Okay, in matters of time, personally, I would suggest if it's maybe choir practice. I know people are in matters of their businesses, their jobs. So probably the most convenient time for them
It's
in the after work,
if it
or
is
probably
weekday.
during the weekend.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or
and probably during the weekend they would like to hang out with their family, you know. So if it's my opinion, I would say even if it's after work, let it not be a long session.
that drags into
Yes.
the night.
Let it be, because guys are exhausted, and you also want family guys to also go home, and also those who are not yet in the family, at least to go home and also relax. You know, getting ready for the next.
In the choice of time, you can actually mitigate some of these things.
Yes.
What are some of the ways you would overcome this?
Actually, nikiongezea what you said, you know, the best time to practice is, let's say, in the morning, because your vocal cords also get tired. That is what people don't know.
Yeah.
You
Ukishaongea during the day.
practice na choir 3-4 hours.
True.
At because an event is
coming.
unajidanganya unless mnashika 2 words. But for you to
Real
get the
vocal
notes,
practice.
for you to clean the tune the sound, the sopranos to sound the same after work, hiyo nao ni kujidanganya.
So it's better in the morning.
The
still.
vocal cords are already tired. That guy ameongea the whole day.
That's an interesting
That
observation.
ameongea the whole day. People don't know that.
So apart from practicing,
So
in
what
good
I
time,
do, mi niliona inakuwa technical sana. So we had formed a group. Tulikuwa 2 men peke yake.
Why
You've come back to that. Lazima tuulize maswali hapo.
It was easier to move around.
Yeah.
It was tukienda, let's say tumealikwa Kisumu, we don't need beds, you don't need separate rooms. Tukipata 1 room and 2 mattresses,
Mnajirundika hapo wote.
and
So that was
it
convenient,
it was
right?
convenient.
I see.
Just sisemi ati having a mixed choir is bad, but kuna challenges zinakuja na
There are
mixed choir,
challenges. We have to be aware of them.
which you need to be ready for them. Tukienda sisi wote hivi, we can't just sleep at one place. Lazima tumtafutie space, you see. Unlike tukienda wanaume peke yake, like wewe toka shower, mimi naingia, wewe toka shower. Watu kuna vile lazima uhandle.
I get
special.
you. So another thing is you can deliberately create segregations of choirs. It would make work easier. Or if you have a mixed choir, then you have to look for how to take care of that.
No, there are
mixture.
people will have children.
Yes.
Lazima tu, now you will handle it that way.
But he has something
Excellent
more. We can add.
conversations, yes.
Yes, I would like to just add something little on the point of the timing. nowadays we have technology, so you can reduce the amount of time used for practice by you could record voice notes and share with the choir members. They practice during the week, then you have little time to combine.
Yeah, you just combine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking, I read a quote in one of Ellen White's books, and she's written widely on this topic. She writes about a subject called reserve. And part of her quote reads that the familiarity of married men and young women and married women and young men alike is disgusting in the sight of God and holy angels. Yeah. And she writes about, establishing boundaries where these guys are too friendly, they share jokes, and then they say there's no moral wrong. We've not done, anything wrong. How do we establish these boundaries that she speaks about? Boundaries in conversation, boundaries in how familiar you are. Oh, this is my choir trainer. Yeah, and that sometimes is what raises undue jealousy, where you're too friendly with this girl. Why are you always carrying a chair for this one? Or why do you serve this man all the time? And it raises small issues. What has been your experience in building and re-establishing boundaries? Or somebody texts you all the time, texts you at 10 p.m., you're in bed.
Now that is beyond choir practice. That is now maybe I'm in the choir and I'm interested in someone.
But no, Mapenzi, when you're in choir, you won't escape making the choir members your friends.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I'm interested in someone na naona huyu tunaweza enda mahali kimaisha, there's nothing wrong in that. But hiyo ifai kuvunja choir. But you see, pia uweze kuni stop from, you can't stop me from getting a wife from the choir. You can't.
True.
Yeah, lazima pia maisha yangu endelee, and nimeona there's a potential there. Why don't I make a move?
Okay, I hear you. So those
are very valid thoughts, because and that's, I told you, we have technical people here, very intelligent, and if you approach life that way, you would not get overjealous over everything.
Now, for me, my question is not for those who are searching for a wife. For those who are just friends. You made a friend in the choir.
Okay, I think I wanted to take us through the steps. First, I have to declare that in the plot or the journey of reserve, of learning to know how to keep distance, it's everyday's journey. You learn different people differently, and people of different personalities and all that. But you must decide in your heart how you will relate with people. Yeah, for even your own name's sake. Because the Bible says, jina ndio unakula nayo. Hiyo haiko kwa Bible, but a good name, a good name is something like that. So it's better than all the gold and all that. So there are steps. My mind goes to Paul. There's a book written, a commentary on most of the acts of the apostles. One of them was Paul, the chief apostle. The writer says in that book that Paul carried with him an atmosphere of holiness, of peace, of purity. And I wondered, what's that? It's something I'm still investigating. So even before you start behaving in a way, when you sit next to women, you are frigid, you want to pretend you're not talking, you look virgin on your face, you might be actually very rotten inside. So there is an atmosphere you carry out of a cultivated freedom with God. Yeah, somebody will feel free to come next to you, but they'll know this joke you will not like at under your directions. And even if such a man finds a lady in the choir, they will select themselves easily when they are looking at their responsibilities around the choir, because some people have gotten married but the choir has died. So their life has moved on, but the life of the choir has moved out. So I think we need to check both interests. When you are cutting for this girl, is there any other man who is interested? So ask the question, is there room in your house? So, but as they are talking, we cannot legislate how they are talking. And I think this is a conversation that would generate many, many things. You could have suggestions that people can use to build reserve. Do what it takes, because it is so costly to lose, family because of maybe somebody ameingilia. It's so costly to have all these things that are extramarital. The Bible has a standard. And that standard is a standard of purity. It is engrafted in the commandment when Jesus said, thou shalt not commit adultery. And Jesus specified, it even goes in words, in thoughts, and we could keep our minds in that direction.
Indeed, God requires us to have a pure mind. He says in Matthew 5 verse 48 that he wants us to be perfect as our Heavenly Father is also perfect. So friends, I admonish you with the words of Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8 that whatever things are pure, you want to think about these things. Whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, may you think about these things even as you practice, that there will be no appearance of evil in your interactions as choir members, as singers, that your influence will ennoble. You know, I think about the life of Jesus. We don't have, you know, a record of a time where any woman or he brought out the emotions of women inappropriately in how he handled them. We don't have any record of, you know, a woman who was treated inappropriately, that you drew out my feelings and then you dumped me. And then Jesus is like, no, I was just singing, I was just preaching. Yeah? Jesus in his influence treated people with lots of respect. And I pray that in your interactions in your choir, in your interactions as musicians, your influence may be ennobling, that we may be moral in the choices of words we choose, in the choices of places we go to, and the time when we practice. And we will end it here with a lovely song that says, would you live for Jesus and be always pure and good?
Well, friends, matters, music and morality, we can go on and on and on, but we want to leave you in the stable hands of Jesus. Keep trusting in Jesus. And we want to leave you with Hope Channel. Keep watching Hope Channel. And here is some music. We want to leave you with the musicians as well. Let the music continue. For us, we'll be out. Ah.